Friday, September 1st, The Layover will be in select theaters, directed by William H. Macy, starring Kate Upton, Ms. Justin Verlander, and the lady who is sitting right to my right here on The Rich Eisen Show, along with William H. Macy, Alexandra Daddario. Good to see you guys.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You got it. You got it. So I appreciate you being here, especially since you guys just told me that there was the premiere party last night, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We're both still drunk.
Was it a rager? Was it a rager of some sort?
Well, it was a good party. I've always thought you can sort of judge how the film went by the quality of the party afterwards, and people were there when I left and still going strong. That's
Is that
sign.
right? Yeah, because you don't want to be the last one
Yeah.
at those, right?
Especially in New York, you'd go to a play that stinks. Boy, the party's like a death.
Are you
trap.
serious?
Oh, it's awful.
Have you been to one of those, for real?
Yeah, I've been in them, yeah.
Come on now.
Serious?
Come on now. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad play, bad party.
And then it's, but last night, can you describe for me what last night was like?
Let's see. It was boisterous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of drinking. Lots of photo taking.
Okay.
We had a bunch of women dressed up as flight attendants.
That's cool.
Okay.
It was cool.
Sexy little outfits, too. I like
right.
that.
Yeah,
was good.
a bunch of hot women walking around. So it was a good party.
Because the layover is about you and Kate Upton on a plane.
That's right.
Correct?
So we're on a plane, and we basically are, 27 years old. So you're at that point, especially when you're a woman, where everything's getting all screwed up, and
Right.
and you're not a child, but you're not really an adult yet. So we decide to take a trip, and a really cute guy sits right between us on the plane, and then we sort of take out our frustrations on ourselves and each other by both trying to get this guy.
Played by Matt Barr.
That's right.
What a tough gig this is for Matt.
That's right.
Right.
It actually was a tough gig because there's a twist at the end, which I don't want to reveal, but it's a closed comedy, and he had a thin line to walk.
Okay.
Yes.
And he did a great job.
Okay.
He did.
Right.
What's cool about the plot is that these two women are doing battle, but the poor Matt Barr is just the battlefield. They don't want him. Neither of them do.
That's
They
right.
just want to beat each other.
It's about the competition.
It's about the
Not about
competition.
winning the competition.
Right.
Essentially, that is.
Yes.
Now, what is your, when you're flying, for instance, Alexandra?
Yes.
What would be your philosophy on sitting next to somebody who takes their shoes off on the plane?
Oh, I have a lot of opinions on this.
Please.
People are so rude. Not at all people, but some people. I think that if your feet smell bad, then you shouldn't take off your shoes.
Right.
But I think as long you just have to be aware of the people around you. That's all.
The reason why I bring this up, in case you're wondering too, William, is the gentleman across the way in a very crisp new button-down shirt.
Yes.
Has no shoes on.
How you guys doing?
Well, he takes his shoes off on a plane, and we have had
cross-country flight.
We have had arguments about this, about whether that is proper or not.
I mean, I'm wearing
it's
clean
okay
socks.
as long as your feet are clean.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if your feet smell bad, then
Of course, people whose feet smell bad never know that their feet
That's
smell bad.
the point,
Oh.
right? So I'm saying, why put me in the position?
It's not about you,
all?
Rich. We've talked
No,
about
it is
this
about
over
me.
and over again.
It is about me because
I
I'm
bought
on
a ticket. I'm
Here we
allowed to
go.
do
We're going to have to separate them.
kind of what I want to do in my personal space on that airplane, within reason.
He's got a point. He paid for it.
I think within reason is the thing. You just have to be aware of how you're affecting the people around you. So I'm sure you look like a man with good smelling feet.
Thank you.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that's a
Oh my
walk
God.
off. You should
Put your
actually
pants on, man.
No, see, he's just trying to show off his entire.
But taking your
situation
shoes
here.
off is nothing compared to the cell phone conversations before you take off.
Okay, now
and
what's
people
that
think
about?
they have to scream into the phone. So whether you want to or not, you have to hear all the ins and outs of their business deals. And I just want to kill people for that. You have to whisper. I want to say, right, we need a Miss Manners on
Right.
cell phones, man. It's
Yes.
getting epidemic. But I want to say to everyone, when you're on an airplane,
Yes.
whisper into your phone or do the call later.
This is a public service announcement. Okay.
Yes.
Now
Elevators too.
The elevators
Sorry.
as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand. But
And you don't have to yell into your phone.
But there's not an elevator scene in the layover, right?
There is.
Okay. See, that's the director right off the bat, knowing exactly what that is.
Yep.
Now, William, you took umbrage with the Mark McGuire bobblehead doll over there. Is that a?
I was just sitting there, man. The thing came after me.
You sure that's not a? I mean, you're a Chicagoan, right? So
Yeah.
is that an anti?
No.
Cardinal situation?
No, there was no insult meant. He was just staring at me, and I sort of said hello, and his head fell off. I had nothing to do with it.
You sure about that? Okay. Are you a Cubs fan of any sort, or White
Big
Sox
time,
fan?
big time.
Okay.
Not a big baseball aficionado, but I lived on Sheffield, across the street from the Cubs.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So did you rooftop it pretty much? Or?
No, you couldn't see from my rooftop, but they used to hold out tickets day of games, so I went a lot. It was get a smoky link and drink some beer.
So because Sheffield, I mean, that is as beautiful a spot as you could possibly have.
It was a long
in
time
Chicago,
ago. Dave
Illinois.
Kingman was playing for him, and man, he was constantly bopping the balls down Sheffield.
Dave Kingman.
Yeah, you'd hear,
Second Kingman reference today.
I know.
and then the ball would go bouncing. It was very cool.
No kidding. And you grew up in New York City, correct?
did,
All
yes.
right. Do you have any fandom from the New York Yankees,
Yeah,
Mets,
no,
Rangers,
definitely
Knicks?
the Yankees, the Knicks, and the Giants. You
Okay.
know, it was sort of, but I like sports, but I
Sure.
wasn't. It was sort of, taught to me by my parents which sports teams I should like. I met Joe Torre once when I was
how did that
12,
happen?
and I held the World Series ring.
Now hold on a second. Now.
Wow.
What do you mean? Let's get deeper into this story.
Okay.
What do you?
12.
So how did you meet Joe Torre?
So I was in the Thanksgiving Day parade where they had hired me to play Wednesday Addams to help promote their Addams Family show they were trying to reboot. And so we all had to wait at like 4 a.m. before the parade started in this big trailer. And they just had everybody come on who was in the parade. So Joe Torre, I guess, was in the parade as well. So we were just hanging out with Joe Torre and he was very nice, and we were kids, me and the guy playing Pugsley. And so he came over and let us each wear the World Series ring. And I remember the kid going like, "Do you know who that is?" And I was like, "I have no idea."
So-
and I didn't know. And then after I realized, I cherish it now. Now I know who Joe Torre is.
Yeah,
but-
I'm sure. I know.
Yes.
So who played Pugsley? Do we know where that individual is?
No, he's an actor. I'm blanking on his name.
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Wow.
Early
It was Brad Pitt.
That's
no,
odd.
he was on. I'm blanking on his name, but yeah, no, he's a working actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your connection with a World Series. I've never held a World Series ring in my entire life.
Wow.
So I guess I
They're-
need to be in the Thanksgiving Day
huge.
parade.
I'll give him a call. I'll try to hook it up.
Yeah, there you go.
I threw out the pitch at the Cubs game a couple of weeks ago, and those rings are huge. You couldn't actually wear that. I mean, it would deform your shoulder.
Now, where does throwing out a first pitch rank for you in terms of
That was pretty sweet.
anything that you've ever done?
That was
William?
pretty sweet. I started my career in Chicago, and to be standing there on the pitcher's mound at Wrigley Field was, well, that's a bucket list right there, man.
Right.
How did you do?
It was a pretty good pitch. It went over the plate.
Wow, good for
I
you.
Googled bad first pitches. And oh, Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Oh, there's some that
There
are
are some
really
bad
bad.
ones.
50 Cent. Did you
They
see?
still haven't found that ball.
Baba Booey from the Howard Stern Show.
Yes. So you've seen these awful first pitches.
Yes. Yes.
Britney Spears, I do believe, rolled one to the plate, or is that
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey?
Yeah.
Rolled one to the
Carl
plate.
Lewis had a bad one.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever have a bad one, it just sits on YouTube for the rest of your life. It
Yep.
is so nerve-wracking.
I practiced. We were shooting exteriors for Shameless, and
Right.
I was in a restaurant. Somebody said, "Did you practice?" And I said, "It's almost 70 feet, man." So in this restaurant, I said, "Count off 70 feet," and we're starting to throw this baseball in the restaurant.
Right.
They invited us to go outside.
There you go. It worked out. I want to take a 60-second break. We'll come back. We'll talk about other projects that folks have fell in love with both of you for. That's coming up next with William H. Macy and Alexandra Daddario in 60 Seconds with Jay Moore and also Michael Irvin still to come on the program. The Layover, available now exclusively on DirecTV, and then on Friday, September 1st, opens in select theaters on VOD, starring Alexandra Daddario, who's here in studio, along with the director, William H. Macy, on the program. William, which is your favorite character that you've played? I know you've done it all. You've done Mamet plays, you've done Mamet movies. If I could say the one character that you enjoyed doing the most in your career, which character would that be?
I guess the most successful ones. I love Shameless. I love Frank Gallagher. Very intelligent fellow, you know. Misunderstood. Jerry Lundegaard, boy, I love that character.
When you first saw that script of Fargo, what did you think?
It's great. I must have it. I thought this is an extraordinary film. This is a career changer. I absolutely knew it.
And how did you get the gig? How did that happen for you?
Perseverance. I went in. They said, that's really good. You want to read for Jerry Lundegaard? I said, yeah. And I went out in the hall, and they said, that's really good. You want to come back tomorrow? And I said, yeah. And I was up all night, learned the whole script. And they said, that's really good. And then I found out they were in New York, so I flew to New York.
You
crashed
flew
the audition.
on your own on
my own dime.
Uh-huh. And
I got the part.
And you got the part.
I had this little cabin in Vermont where I used to go to when I was a New York City actor, and I was up there when the phone rang. I had gotten the role of my lifetime, and there was no one there. And it's a mile and a half to the neighbors. I was just running around screaming.
Nobody. You were just all by yourself.
Yeah.
No kidding. Sort of like The Shining in a way. Just that you were always the
caretaker. It's a good memory. It's good.
No, it's about you were always the caretaker of Jerry Lundegaard. I mean, really was spectacular. I find myself quoting those lines all the time about this is my deal. Yeah. This is my deal here. How did you?
Felicity and I always sing, we're doing pretty good, Marge.
Is it? That's how you say? That's how you say that to your wife? Yeah. And then, but just how did you learn that accent? How did you get that one down, William?
There was a vocal coach, Liz Himmelstein, I think is her name. And I had done a season at the Guthrie a couple of years earlier, so it was not unfamiliar to me. It's an easy one. Well, I tell you, after the film, though, we had to have a no Fargese zone around my house because everyone was talking that way, and it got to be sort of a bore.
Right. And then Alexandra, I mean, Fargo is dark.
Yes.
But it is basically like The Flying Nun compared to True Detective. When that script landed in your world, what did you think reading this? Now, you played as normal an individual as we saw in the first season of True Detective.
Right.
But what was it like for you to read that script for the first time?
So I didn't actually read the script until after I booked the role, because that was similar to your story about getting Fargo. I actually flew to New York a couple times, and I really fought for the role before I even knew what it was, because I liked the people involved. I liked the director and Woody and Matthew. So I didn't even know what I was getting myself into until I booked the role. I knew that I would have to, there would be a sex scene and that kind of thing, but I didn't know what the story was. So it was a mind-blowing thing to see what I was going to be a part of. I knew that it was going to be something good, but then actually being able to see exactly what it was.
It's because they hadn't written it, right? The script hadn't been written.
No, it was written. They were just being very secretive about it, especially where I was in my career. They weren't just handing the script out to anyone who was auditioning.
Yeah, well, McConaughey was on the show, and he said that he was supposed to do Woody Harrelson's role first, at least reading that, but then he saw Russ Cole. He's like, that's the guy. I have to play him.
Yeah.
And then you've been in a couple of movies with The Rock. What is it like acting with the 46th president of the United States, Alexandra? What is that like?
Amazing. He's amazing. I mean, what he's done is incredible. And if he does become president, I mean, I assume I'll get to go to the White House quite a bit.
Well, you'll be in the cabinet, won't you think?
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Sure.
Yeah, with all of my political expertise.
Absolutely. I mean, why not? But
it'll be Dwayne and me and Carla Gugino and Nev Campbell, who's starring in his new movie.
Yeah.
It'll be everybody from his movies.
Yeah. I don't think Vin Diesel, right? He won't have a place in the cabinet.
No Vin
Okay,
Diesel. Well, I think they've buried the hatchet.
What was the best advice, perhaps acting, that you got from William as a director on this movie?
Layover? I think it's not advice per se. I think there's little things that I probably forgotten now that I picked up from working with Bill. But it was really it was interesting to work, because whenever I work with a director, it's music to my ears to hear that they've taken an acting class, because it's an interesting thing to understand what the insecurity of being an actor and the process that you have to go through. So no one understands that better than Bill. So being able to communicate with us as actors, as efficiently as Bill was able to. I mean, that doesn't always happen. So I think that was it was a really positive experience for that reason.
And what about you, William, getting into directing as you have now for this movie. Is this something you always wanted to do, or why get into it?
I think you reach a point in your career. I mean, Alex sort of touched on it. The purview of an actor is very small, and I think if you're in the business for a long time, sooner or later you think, I want to tell the joke. I want to say the punchline. I want to decide what color the blah blah is.
Right.
And it sure is a lot harder than acting, I'll tell you.
Is that right?
Oh, man.
By the way, that sounded very Lundegaard-like right
did.
there, to be very honest with
Yeah,
you.
it's like getting hit by a truck, especially a little indie. But I like it, and parts of it I thought I wouldn't like, I like a lot. The prep, the post, I like it a lot. I didn't think I had the tenacity to stay with it. I thought I'd get bored because I have the attention span of a gnat. And but that's kind of my favorite part.
Can I get your favorite Boogie Nights story, please? Give me your favorite one, William. By the way, that's a remote drop for me. Anytime. It doesn't matter where it is in the movie, the remote gets dropped, and I have to watch it to the end.
And how racy do we get on this show?
Well, I mean,
We have a 7-second delay. You're good.
go for it.
Yeah.
So Paul Thomas Anderson, who wrote and directed it, we were having lunch together, sitting out on a lawn, and there were some real porn actors in the film. And this little slip of a thing came up and sat right between us. And she said, and we said hi, and she said, "May I ask you some professional advice?" And Paul said, "Yeah." And she said, "You've seen me do 2 scenes now. Should I go professional or should I go anal?"
And how does one answer that question?
I said, "Paul, I'm going to leave this to you," and I left.
And you wanted to get into directing.
Yeah.
And you wanted to get into directing.
Wouldn't
right
you?
What a movie, man. So you're going to the fight? You're going to, speaking of getting hit by a
Yeah.
bus, you're going to the McGregor-Mayweather fight
Yeah.
coming up on Saturday.
Oh, is McGregor going to get hit by a bus? Yes, of course he is.
I don't know. Nobody really knows
Boy,
what
if
is going to happen.
He can hit like a freaking mule, so anything could happen.
So the thing, he strikes me, McGregor, like he's straight out of a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
He's a character straight. Like
Totally.
I'm looking for Vinnie Jones, right? Like he should be in his corner with Jason
Totally.
Statham. You know, he's
I think
got
that's
that
why he's
attitude
so
about him.
appealing. He's completely genuine. He is what he is.
You're right.
And
So
magnificent athlete.
Well, who are you going with? Were you going with your wife, or what does it look like?
No,
here?
I think Moore Huffman is my, nephew.
Okay.
Felicity's sister's son.
Okay.
He's a family friend, and
He's your +1 for the fight.
he's my +1.
Fantastic. That's great. Have you ever been to a prize fight of any sort, Alexandra?
I have not. I would love to go though.
Now you tell me.
Well,
I'm going with Moore.
it's all right.
Well, I think if you just want to,
No, I think, you know what, I think I would like to go once for the experience and to be able to say that I've gone. I do a lot of things just so I can sort of know what that's like.
Right.
I'm not sure that I would love it though. I think I'd be, like, oh no, they're getting hurt.
No, well, you've been to Staples Center here. We talked about it backstage when we
Yes.
chatted before.
Yes.
And if you think going to Staples is just watching the scene,
Right.
you need to go to a prize fight in
Oh, my
Las
goodness.
Vegas, Nevada.
Jack Nicholson will be there for sure, right?
Yeah, is it just Vegas? But I mean, it was like the Roman Colosseum. There was bloodlust in the air. It's a scary environment. It really sort of
Don't
is.
scare her off, William. I mean, you should check it out
Right.
if you can, or
Yeah.
something of that nature.
Hey, I think I need to get on that.
Do you have a prediction on the fight, McGregor or Mayweather?
I'm gonna go with. Oh, you see, I was gonna go with McGregor because he was younger,
Yes, that is
but
true.
then Bill was saying that he doesn't have that Mayweather's gonna beat him up.
Yeah, and he's going to take 10 rounds to do it too. He's
He was
just going
gonna-
to keep peppering him.
That's a-
Are people pretty split on? There's no clear winner,
Yeah,
right?
what's Vegas saying?
What's Vegas? What you have that information on?
Conor McGregor is a big underdog.
He is.
Underdog. Okay.
Yes,
Big
and
underdog.
And if he wins, the lights may go down in Las Vegas because they won't be able to pay the bills because of the number of people that are putting some money on him, thinking that they can win.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
It's got it all set up. So enjoy that fight, and I'm sure there might be the phone lines are lit if you want to be somebody's plus one, Alexandra?
Oh, if anybody has an extra ticket and wants to,
No, don't
fly
say
me
that.
out.
Hold on. Father and me's coming out. Hush up. She's not available. She's got school the next day.
Okay, very good. The Layover in theaters
Contact
and
my
VOD
agent.
on Friday, September 1st, and it's available exclusively right now on DirecTV. Good to see both of you. Please come back anytime.
Oh, we will. Thank
You got it. William H.
Thank you.
Macy and Alexandra Daddario here on The Rich Eisen Show. Jay Moore and Michael Irvin also still to come. Don't you dare move.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app, and I'll be sure to help the NFL figure out what a catch is.